Hello and welcome to the September 2022 Longevity Review, presented by the Canadian Longevity Association, a federally incorporated nonprofit whose mission is to accelerate the introduction of effective longevity treatments and to ensure their free availability to all Canadians under the provincial healthcare systems. My name is Chris Linnell, and I am the founder and president of the association. We are a volunteer-run organization and just starting out, so we could certainly use your help regardless of your skills or time availability. If you would like to help us achieve our mission, then please fill out the volunteer form, volunteer registration form, as you can see here, or contact us via our website or Facebook page, or indeed on Twitter. Okay, shameless plug over. Let's get on with this. So starting out here, I mentioned that I'm currently conducting a trial of rapamycin, which I believe is the longevity drug closest to prime time. Now, I'm planning on doing a separate set of videos about this, so I won't cover this in this video. However, look out for the videos about my rapamycin trial on our YouTube channel. Okay, let's get on to the main part. So the September 22 roundup, which covers what I believe the most important publications of the month of September, and starting with umbilical plasma injections reduce biological age in humans. So this study involving a small study only involving 18 individuals. These 18 individuals were injected with 1 milliliter of umbilical cord plasma concentrate over the course of 10 weeks. And at the end of that time period, they showed improvements in 10 out of 78 different measures. And most importantly, their kidney function improved. In addition, for example, in terms of kidney function, creatine was significantly decreased, and the estimated glomerular, I can't even pronounce it, filtration rate increased, which may improve biomarkers of kidney function. Now, also, an interesting point is that an epigenetic DNA methylation clock, GrimAge, improved by an average of 0.82 years. So not massively, but still improved in the positive direction. GrimAge is, I believe, a second or third generation biological clock, and as the name suggests, it is good at predicting mortality, or how long people are expected to live. So that when that improves, that is a good thing. Now, the reason I consider this study to be significant is that it adds more information into the long-running debate about whether or not detrimental factors in old blood or beneficial factors in young blood are better for longevity. And just taking a step back here for a moment, this all has to do with a set of experiments which took place a while back, or are still taking place now, involving heterochronic parabiosis. Now, what that means is when they take two mice or two rats, an old one and a young one, and they join their circulatory systems together, scientists found out that the young mouse becomes biologically older, whereas the old mouse becomes biologically younger. Now, the question arose, is it a case that there were youthful factors in the younger mouse's blood, which rejuvenated the old mouse, or whether it was sort of senescent factors in the old mouse's blood, which caused the young mouse to grow older? Now, last month in August, there was a study came out also in humans showing that, a very small study, I should say, only 3 people were involved, showing that simply diluting the blood of human volunteers, so taking out sort of the old detrimental factors, resulted in a small set of bit of rejuvenation. So this study is the opposite of that. Here they're taking plasma from umbilical cord. I mean, you can't get much younger plasma than that, and by injecting it into older people, it it produced some positive benefits. Like, I should mention that the average age of the people in this trial was 74. So yeah, it's a useful, interesting trial. And I mean, in my own opinion, I believe that it's not a case of, I mean, it's not a case of one side being correct. I believe that both sides are correct, and that there are youthful factors in young blood, and indeed there are detrimental factors in old blood, and we need to boost those youthful factors and take away those older factors to produce more robust rejuvenation. But exciting days, however, because this is now moving into humans. Even though these trials are very small, as I say, this one only involved 18 people. The one last month only involved 3 people. But larger trials will no doubt take place in the future and provide more conclusive evidence one way or the other. Now, the second study here is a study I've been waiting for a long time to be published, because I've been hearing on the grapevine about its positive the positive results. So I was so excited that this study finally came out. One of the reasons is that it involves, well, the drug I'm trying out at the moment, rapamycin, which, as I mentioned before, was the first drug proven to extend the lifespan of a mammal, and up till now has robustly extended the lifespan every organism it has been tried in, and currently is the most successful anti-aging intervention, certainly in mice. Now, as one thing I keep on going on about, if you've read anything I've written before, heard me speak, is that there's no one single drug or single intervention that is going to rejuvenate us or massively extend our lifespan. It's all going to come down to combinations. And up to this point, or for the most part, when anti-aging or longevity interventions have been tried in preclinical or clinical studies, it's been single interventions. And we need to move beyond that to start combining things together. And the interventions testing program, which is a program run by the National Institute of Aging in the US, it's been running for almost 20 years now, where they test various substances in mice. And this is where actually where it was shown that rapamycin can extend the lifespan of a mouse. In the study that came out in 2009, they started now combining it with other drugs. And a few years ago, they combined it with metformin to produce the longest lifespan extension yet seen. Now, this has been followed up in the latest round, where they have combined rapamycin with acarbose. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is another diabetes drug, which basically blunts the uptake of sugar from our intestines into the blood system, so reduces glucose spikes. And this new study has now produced the longest or the greatest lifespan extension seen so far in mice, with a 28% median increase in lifespan for female mice, and a 34% increase in male mice when starting at 9 months of age, which is roughly, I've been trying to figure out, I can't find specific numbers, and it's probably just nobody knows exactly, but it equates to a human in their 30s or early 40s. Now, if this were to translate one for one to humans, then that would equate to roughly 25-year increase in the average lifespan, which, well, a quarter of a century is not to be sniffed at. And now, unfortunately, when given, they tried two ages. One was 9 months, and the other age was 16 months. And yeah, here there was 9. You can see the curves here. So here above we get at 9 months of age, the green is the control, the red is the intervention, and then at 16 months, which equates to I think like late 50s or in the 60s in human terms, something around there. Again, I couldn't find exact figures when I was trying to sniff this one out. Not as big as big of an effect, and in fact, increased lifespan only by, where'd it go? Oops. Here we go. So yeah, so it increased lifespan by 13%, both in females and in males. So yeah, not as good, but still, again, still at a later age, I think these are the biggest improvements we have seen so far. And spoiler alert, the next time I'm going to be trying rapamycin, I am going to combine it with acarbose as well. Now, the study wasn't only in rapamycin plus acarbose. They tested various other molecules, and yeah, they tried leucine, PB125, Solindac, and I can't even remember, Syringarinus, whatever, which had no effect on lifespan. 1.3 butanediol increased medium female lifespan by 2%, which yeah, I would say is non-significant. However, captopril, which is an ACE2 inhibitor or an ACE inhibitor, I think for blood pressure, increased the median lifespan in females by 6% and in males by 11%. So again, not as big a impact as rapamycin, or especially rapamycin acarbose, but still another positive result. So if you're taking medication for blood pressure, then what's going to be? It's obviously in general, controlling your blood pressure is very good for your mortality. But as I say, it looks like it at least for this one drug, can increase lifespan as well. But yes, very significant. As I say, I'm always on about combinations. And speaking of which, moving on to the sort of third and final of the highlights for the month, I actually chose 3 different studies, all which involved, again, using combinations of supplements, which seem to show a benefit, and most importantly, a benefit in humans, not just in mice. Or I don't even know if these were tested in mice, but these 3 studies were tested in humans. Now, the first one, multivitamin supplementation shown to improve cognition. The study actually was comparing, as it says here, the effects of cocoa, a cocoa extract, and a multivitamin on cognitive function. And unfortunately, unlike prior studies, which seem to show that the ingestion of high quality cocoa or chocolate is good for cognition. In fact, one reason I eat a lot of dark chocolate, or at least that's my excuse for eating a lot of dark chocolate, did not produce did not lead to a improvement. So it says the cocoa extract did not benefit cognition. However, the multivitamin or multivitamins, see my my stay in the UK is sort of creeping into my accent here. The multivitamin did, however, result in an improvement. So, as it says here, resulted in a statistically significant benefit on global cognition. And this effect was most pronounced in participants with a history of cardiovascular disease. Now, what multivitamin are they talking about? Well, they use something called Centrum Silver, so something you can probably go get in your local pharmacy, at least in the UK, at least in the USA. Oh gosh, where does it say? Anyway, it's called Centrum Silver. I can't now find it. Oops. Let's see. Hold on. Procedures. I can't find it. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Centrum Silver by Pfizer Consumer Healthcare. Now Haleon. But anyway, a multivitamin, kind of a standard multivitamin with lots of different vitamins and minerals in it. And anyway, that improved cognition. So that's good if you're taking multivitamin. Good to know if you're taking multivitamin. The second one here, and also I should also say that there was in this first study there were over 2,000 participants. Quite a large study, which of course increases its significance and its validity compared to the usual small scale studies we find in the longevity field. Now, this second one looks like took place in Italy, involved a combination of trehalose, spermidine, nicotinamide, and polyphenols, which this is only, again, a small study, only 20 patients with peripheral artery disease, and basically it increased autophagy, and more importantly, or impressively, it increased maximum walking distance by 91%. So yeah, these are good signs. But again, very, very small study. However, once again, it's all I like to see these combinations being tried out. And then the final one here, from August, actually, because I don't catch every study in the month in question, involved, I believe, 120 patients, and using a combination of where'd he go? Yeah, Sambucus nigra, which I now forget. Say something. Plant zinc, tyndallase, a lactobacillus acidophilus, so a probiotic, rabinogalactans, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin C. And this basically improved the inflammatory levels, IL-6 and CRP, which are good things. So, using the supplement for 30 days resulted in improvements here, and supposedly 70%. All the participants claim to feel better after using this supplement, for whatever that is worth. Could be more placebo than anything, but I guess that's improvement compared to the people who are only taking placebo. Regardless, these three studies, again, just simply indicate that combinations are the useful way forward, and certainly the way forward that we need to investigate more. So I'm sure most of you, well, if any of you are taking supplements, you're not just taking one, you're taking a bunch of different ones, and we really need to tease out just how they interact and which ones are useful, which ones aren't, and how they can synergize together and hopefully not counteract each other. Now, moving on to, so those are the highlights of the month, at least in my opinion, but moving on to the supplemental section, where there are lots of different subcategories, pointing out a few different things. I don't want to spend too long on each here, but this first one, just again highlighting, this one you probably are aware of, that the more you walk, the daily step count is very important for your health. And here, I believe this was using participants from the UK Biobank study, which has, very, very useful, a very, very useful collection of people's biological results. 500,000 people are in it, but here they tracked, over 78,000 people, average age of 61, and they basically found that the more steps per day, up to about 10,000 steps, was associated with declines in mortality risks and decreased cancer and cardiovascular incidence. Not only that, but peak 30 cadence, which basically means, well, it says their stepping intensity, how quickly, what your pace is, how many steps you're doing per minute, also showed consistent associations with improved morbidity and mortality rates. I've seen a number of studies now which seem to confirm this. Starting from 0 steps per day up to around 7,000 steps, there's a really steep increase in benefit. It then starts to sort of slow down between 7,000 and 10,000 steps, and then really sort of plateaus after 10,000 steps. So for example, 15,000 steps a day wouldn't provide much better, hardly any extra benefit compared to 10,000 steps. So if you've got a step count on your fitness tracker or smartphone, then it is, it's worth trying to walk more. Just get on your feet more, and less time sitting on your ass, basically. But yeah, I just wanted to reinforce this this knowledge. Moving on to more supplements now that are available. I found this interesting, that melatonin, something I take for sleep, actually can be useful for exercise. As someone who is exercising, or trying to exercise, trying to improve my fitness. In this again small study, around 20 young individuals who were involved in a football, or 20 soccer players took part in an exhaustive 6-day training schedule. Took daily 5 milligrams of oral melatonin, which is actually the dose that I use. And it found out that so prevented an increase in biomarkers of renal function, so it's improved renal function and muscle breakdown and liver and stuff. And also it prevented the deterioration in physical performance. So in terms of jumps and stuff, or 20-meter sprints. So yeah, and also the thing is they took this supplement in the evening. So I think at 7 p.m. or something like that. We're training during the day. So yeah, just interesting how melatonin could potentially have a different use beyond helping you get to sleep. Another couple, just offhand, I should mention another couple supplements. Actually, curcumin and astaxanthin also seem to be beneficial for exercise. So I take those as well. Yeah, I should just also mention that I'm sort of concentrating here on human studies, because they are the most useful for us, since I guess most of us listening are humans. Unless your dog is sitting on your lap, or your cat is sitting on your lap, or something like that. Anyway, moving on here to nicotinamide riboside, one of the two sort of popular NAD precursors. And in this one, this is another combination, actually. This is nicotinamide riboside and pterostilbene, which is used in the supplement called Basis, which made a bit of a splash a few years back. And here they tried it out for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And they found that it was safer, not an AFL, and it also improved some markers, so a time-dependent decrease in circulating levels of the liver enzymes, alanine aminotransferase and gamma glutamyl transferase. In actually the lower dose group, I think the 250 milligram group, and this was significant with respect to placebo. So I think this basically means an improvement in liver function, as it says here that the NRPT. So yeah, the nicotinamide plus pterostilbene at the recommended dose is safe and may hold promise in lowering markers of hepatic, so liver inflammation in patients with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Carrying on, what's the next one? Oh yes, resveratrol, which substance found in red grapes, and again caused a bit of a splash. Almost coming up to 20 years ago. When it had its moment in the sun, and then the hype was a bit too big, and it didn't live up to the hype. So a lot of people do not consider it to be a useful supplement. However, I've noticed that month by month, there are enough studies coming out that it seems to have some effect, at least some beneficial effect. And in this study I'm highlighting here, this is actually this is a meta-analysis, not looking at a host of other studies. In fact, looked at 17 other studies in total, with consisting in total of 968 patients. So that's one thing. A lot of these studies, as you've seen prior, involve very small numbers of participants. So it's hard to reach statistical significance, and it's a good chance that random chance has influenced the results. However, by pooling many such smaller studies together, we can get hopefully a better idea if something is working or not. So by pooling 17 studies together, we get up to almost 1,000 participants. And what they found was that there seemed to be some improvement in sort of lipid profile. So here it says, the results indicated that the intake of resveratrol could significantly decrease the total cholesterol, triglycerides, and low-density cholesterol, but did not alter the levels of HDL cholesterol. So, I mean, there were different doses were used, different trials were at different lengths. The results from the subgroup analysis show that the reductions of LDL-C were most significant in the trials with the duration of at least 12 weeks or longer, and in subjects with type 2 diabetes. So anyway, so it just seems to suggest that it is beneficial, resveratrol may be beneficial to reduce total cholesterol, triglycerides, and low density cholesterol. Again, I take 250 milligrams per day, actually combined with pterostilbene. Again, it's not going to be a miracle, but hopefully it provides at least some benefit. It's all about getting those incremental gains to stay alive long enough and healthy enough to take advantage of the really effective longevity treatments, which hopefully will be coming along soon. Certainly going to be what the CLA is working towards is trying to speed that the introduction of those more effective longevity treatments up. And oh yeah, sticking with resveratrol actually, because in the combination little section I've got here, two out of the three studies involved resveratrol. The first with resveratrol and alpha lipoic acid for women with it's the polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS. No, they don't even say what it is. Yeah, I think something like polycystic ovary syndrome or something. Anyway, again, this is another minute study, 8 overweight females, which took a supplement with resveratrol and alpha lipoic acid. After 12 weeks of treatments, their body mass index, I guess the body composition, anthropometry, and bioimpedance parameters were all reduced in the treated patients compared to baseline. So basically, it's a beneficial for improving the metabolic profile for women with this condition. Again, tiny trial. And secondly, resveratrol used in combination with O-tocotrienol, which basically is, that's not O, that's a Greek alphabet. I'm not sure which one that is. But anyway, better known as vitamin E, improves the cardiometabolic risk factors and biomarkers in patients with metabolic syndrome. Here were slightly more, 82 patients, I believe, were used. Yeah, 82 patients. So it led to a significant, how long did they do this for? Oh, twice daily for 24 weeks. They took twice daily. So yeah, 300 milligrams of resveratrol, and I guess in total 500 milligrams of vitamin E, and the significantly reduction in waist circumference, blood pressure, mean average blood glucose, and serum triglycerides, and an increase in high density liver protein. Unlike that other meta-analysis, which showed there was none, but there you go. So yeah, also improved high sensitivity C-reactive protein, otherwise known as CRP, interleukin 6, another marker of inflammation, tumor necrosis factor A, and malondialdehyde. So all of those are biomarkers for inflammation. Okay, moving on from our resveratrol onto the sort of prescription supplements. So here, metformin, in this study, again, a meta-analysis of 9 studies involving 754 patients with left who have left ventricular hypertrophy. So yeah, basically their hearts are not in good shape because the left ventricle is too big. Hypertrophy means growth. Anyway, they found that with by giving them metformin, it improved. Yeah, so the mass, hold on. So that metformin use resulted in higher reduction in left ventricular mass, I think, infarction. And yeah, so hold on, what did it say? That's it, left ventricular mass index. So yeah, which was good, and also overall improvement in left ventricle ejection fraction, which basically means how much blood your heart is able to pump out. So yeah, well, overall improvement of 2.99%, which doesn't sound a lot, but actually can make a fair bit of difference. So yeah, so metformin was useful in this patient population. But again, I mean, actually no, sorry, 754 patients, so slightly better numbers here. Going on to, oh look, we're back with rapamycin. This once again, however, in mice and also Daphnia magna, which is a small invertebrate, lives in ponds or something like that. I'm not, yeah, you can look it up. I think they have a short lifespan. Anyway, what made this study interesting, because again, pretty much every time rapamycin has been tried in mice, it's extended their lifespan, regardless of their genetic background. However, what made this study very interesting is that they only gave rapamycin to the mice for the first 45 days of life. And actually, there have been 3 studies all about giving rapamycin to mice only at the young age, and they've all shown benefit. In fact, it took me a while to realize that it was actually 3 separate studies and not just the same one being seeing the same one in different sources. But anyway, although they grew more slowly and they remained smaller than the controls for their entire lives, and their reproductive age was delayed, but though that did not affect offspring numbers, interesting thing is that the treatment was sufficient to extend their average lifespan by 10%, strongest effect in males, and help preserve health as measured by frailty index scores, gait speed, and glucose and insulin intolerance tests. Yeah, so very interesting. I'm just giving it for a very short period of time. I mean, 45 days for a mouse is a lot longer than 45 days for a human, but still, just very interesting that how just a very short course could have such a you know very short course at such an early age could have such a big impact. And so yeah, it also robustly extended the lifespan of Daphnia magna and also um, reduced its body size. I don't think there was there a thing for, yeah, here you can see the lifespan curve for yeah, for mice, male and female down here. And do they have it for the Daphnia? Forgotten now. Oh yeah, there we go. That's sort of Daphnia looks like, in case you're wondering. I'm sure you were wondering. I guess they are a fair bit smaller there. And yes, you can see the curve, lifespan curves as well. Increases lifespan. I don't think they say what the percentage increase is. But anyway, again, yet another organism whose lifespan is extended by the use of rapamycin. Again, another reason why there's so much excitement around this drug. And quite a few people are experimenting with it, though I'm not encouraging anyone else to do so. Now here was just a very, not a human study, but just a kind of, this is interesting. I've never seen something like this before. So in the lifespan lengthening interventions, where normally well, if I put in mice lifespan extensions, I mean, every month there are almost quite a number of studies using worms or maybe sometimes flies or yeast. I like to concentrate. Actually, all of these are none of these are with mice, but yeah, this is a fallow month for apart from the rapamycin one we just talked about. But this one stood out just purely because a moderate static magnetic field promotes C. elegans longevity. So C. elegans is a tiny model organism, it's a tiny worm, very basic model organism used in well, all basic biology studies. It was I think, the first multicellular organism to have its genome decoded, for example. anyway, you can see here that by being in a moderate static magnetic field, yeah, it increased their lifespan, which is one of those, huh, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't really have much more comment than that. Maybe just some, just, you know, so I found that quite interesting and certainly out of left field. But yeah, no, don't go sitting in, you know, don't go using magnets because of this single random study. Carrying on, what did I? Oh yes. Again, I mean, there's so many studies here. If I went through them all, we'd be here all week. And I'm sure you've got better things to do than that. But I wanted to touch on, yeah, as ever, every month there seems to be some senolytic studies. So in case you're not sure, senolytics is the removal of senescent cells. Now, what are senescent cells? They are cells in our body which have sort of malfunctioned. And instead of being cleared away by our immune systems, they just sort of hang about like zombie cells and excrete all these inflammatory markers and basically cause dysfunction in our bodies. They're not good things. So getting rid of them has shown fair bit of benefit. And here are three more studies in mice showing different benefits. So the first one is showing benefits in muscular dystrophy and using fisetin, which is actually a supplement you can buy, but again, not suggesting you use it for this purpose. Found in strawberries. The other ones were well, the second one was moving senescent cells improves the brains of female mice. Though this used a genetic technique, but again, again showing. Oops. Going to the lifespan.io site, which I volunteer for, and yeah, so there's a clear benefit to the removal, and yeah, basically it was a good thing to remove those senescent cells, and then finally a third one. Clearance of senescent cells improves cardiac remodeling and functioning after a myocardial infarction, otherwise known as a heart attack. This time using dasatinib and quercetin, or DNQ as it is commonly known as, which was like the first, again, once again, a combination, but the first successful senolytics discovered. Dasatinib is an anti-cancer drug, and quercetin is another flavanol, perhaps. I mean, another supplement you can buy, basically found in apples and red onions. And actually, a number of people are self-experimenting with D and Q, and there are a number of human trials taking place actually. But again, I would hold off until we get more human results, which should be coming through in the next, well, any time now, basically. Studies have been going on for a few years, so yeah, I'm waiting for those with bated breath. But regardless, more positive results for senolytics. And finally, sort of an area which I've always sort of kept in odds, and like sort of my odds and sods section is all the stuff, all the studies which I don't really know where to put. So I put them at the back at the end, they're sort of oddballs. So like, you know, what about psychedelic therapy for older adults? Or, you know, how you know, a 1 hour walk in nature is good for you. However, I just want to briefly touch upon transcranial magnetic stimulation. So, but different, well, different from that magnetic field lifespan extension. But I've been seeing over the time, and I really have not had the chance to really sort of look into this. I just sort of shoved it into odds and sods, but I just thought I would highlight it this time because every month there seems to be studies coming out about either this transcranial magnetic stimulation or transcranial direct current stimulation. So again, sort of using electricity, seem to have beneficial effects on cognition or the workings of the mind. So the first one, high frequency repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation improves cognitive performance parameters in patients with Alzheimer's disease. How many people were in this one? I forget. Just looking at the abstract here. 28 patients, 10 received. Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, it showed an improvement for Alzheimer's patients. The second one, this one being a systemic, oh yeah, this one is a systemic review and meta-analysis. So again, taking a number of studies and putting them together. Here they involved 14 studies involving 513 Alzheimer disease patients, and this transcranial magnetic stimulation can improve the global cognition and daily living ability of Alzheimer patients. In addition, the attention should be paid. Okay, saying if patients are getting if Alzheimer's patients are having seizures, they should be watched out for. And again, even though it's involving in total 500 people, still in the grand scheme of things, it's not thousands of people, so it's given the relatively small sample size, our results should be interpreted with caution. And the final one, so this is actually the combination of aerobic exercise and transcranial direct current stimulation. Again, don't stick your fingers in the electric socket, please. Well, don't stick your head into an electric socket, I guess. But here, and again, this is a systemic review meta-analysis. So yeah, I mean, aerobic exercise improved global cognition. The transcranial direct current stimulation improved global cognition in all three cognitive functions, and combining the two interventions may have potential to slow progression of cognitive impairment and aging. So, yes, so our systemic review with meta-analysis provided evidence that beyond the cardiovascular and fitness benefits of aerobic exercise, pairing aerobic exercise with transcranial direct current stimulation may have the potential to slow symptom progression of cognitive decline in mild cognitive impairment and dementia. Again, and then they always say further studies will examine this hypothesis. This present review. Most scientific publications do end with the statement that further research is warranted or further research needs to take place. Anyway, I think we've come to the end here. Again, plenty of other studies to potentially talk about, but I think that's probably enough for now. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to get in contact with me. I'm always happy to discuss things or to share my little bit of knowledge that I have. And if you're seeing this on our YouTube channel, yeah, please comment below. It's always nice to get people's reactions to this. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found this useful. And yeah, in general, thank you very much for joining me. Goodbye.